Okay, hey everyone, it's Aubrey here, and I wanted to share something that happened a while back that's really stuck with me. It was one of those days that felt totally normal right up until it wasn't, and it turned into this whole messy, frustrating, but ultimately important thing. So the day started with me picking up my adopted sister, Lily, from school. Lily's great, seriously, she's got this quiet strength about her, but she's also been through a lot, you know. Because of that, she's super reserved, not really one to speak up or engage with strangers. She's also nonverbal sometimes, especially when she's feeling overwhelmed or anxious. Anyway, we got home for a bit, then decided to pop over to the grocery store for a few things we needed. Just a quick trip, nothing planned. We were just moseying through the aisles, kinda taking our time, when this woman just zoomed up to us. I barely registered her before she was right in front of Lily, cutting me off and demanding, not asking, "Hey, where's the bread?" Now okay, people ask for directions in stores all the time, but the way this woman, let's just go ahead and call her Karen, zeroed in on Lily, it was immediate and intense, and her tone. It was so dismissive, like she couldn't be bothered to look around or find a store employee, and maybe also like she thought Lily was just some little kid who should know everything and was being unhelpful. It just instantly felt wrong. Lily, poor kiddo, her eyes went wide and she just froze, like a deer in headlights. She clammed up, exactly what she does when she's startled or stressed. No response came out, she just stood there, rooted to the spot. Seeing that fear just flash across her face, that's when my protective older sister switch flipped hard. I stepped right in front of Lily, putting myself between her and Karen. "Excuse me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady even though I was already annoyed. "My sister is nonverbal and she's having trouble understanding you right now." Karen didn't even blink, her face hardened, and she actually took a step closer, lowering her voice slightly but making it way more aggressive. I asked her where the bread was. "Don't play stupid. Just tell me where the bread is, you little brat." She even made this impatient gesture with her hand like she might reach out. That did it, hearing her call Lily a brat after I just explained and seeing Lily flinch back, literally trying to disappear behind the nearest shopping cart, her hands instinctively going up like she was bracing herself. I saw red. Before I even fully thought about it, I reacted. When Karen's hand twitched again towards Lily, I didn't slap it away exactly, but I moved fast and blocked her, putting my arm up between them. It wasn't a punch, but it was forceful enough to stop her movement and make contact. "Hey, back off, don't you ever talk to her like that or try to touch her." Oh man, Karen went from annoyed to absolutely furious in 0 seconds flat. Her face went bright red and she started yelling, not about the bread anymore, but about me. "You assaulted me, you just attacked me, security. Manager," she was making a huge scene, pointing and shouting like I was some kind of violent criminal. I was honestly stunned for a second. Like what? I was trying to protect my sister from your aggressive behavior and now I'm the attacker. The sheer entitlement and the immediate switch to playing the victim was unbelievable. Luckily, all the yelling did get attention and the store manager came hustling over. Karen immediately started screeching her version of events, how I had violently assaulted her for no reason when she just asked a simple question. The manager, bless her heart, took one look at the scene, Karen, red-faced and yelling, and Lily, still trying to hide behind the cart, looking absolutely terrified. She calmly but firmly interrupted Karen and asked me what happened. I quickly explained, keeping my voice as calm as I could, about Karen demanding things from Lily, her non-verbal state, Karen getting aggressive and calling her names, and Karen trying to reach for her, and how I stepped in to stop it. The manager looked back at Karen, who was still huffing and sputtering. "Ma'am," she said, her voice firm, "from what I'm seeing and hearing and based on this young girl's distress, you were being aggressive and harassing a minor who clearly wasn't engaging with you. Reaching for someone, especially a child who is visibly scared, is a form of assault." This young woman was defending her sister. Karen's face somehow got even redder and she started crying, dramatic, fake-sounding sobs, claiming I was a liar and I was out of control. But the manager wasn't having any of it. She called security right over, explained the situation calmly, and they escorted Karen out of the store despite her protests. The manager was really apologetic to us. She checked on Lily, who was still pretty shaken up, and gave us a couple of generous gift cards for our trouble and as an apology for the experience. But even with the gift cards and the manager's support, the effects of that incident didn't just disappear when Karen left. Lily was really set back by it. For weeks after, she was having night terrors again, something she hadn't done in ages. She became even more withdrawn, sticking right by my side, refusing to go anywhere unless I was literally holding her hand. Every time we went out, I could see that fear flicker in her eyes, that anticipation of someone else being aggressive or mean. It was heartbreaking to see, so I did what felt right. I actually ended up moving back in with her parents temporarily and sleeping in Lily's room for a while, just to be there for her, help her feel safe, talk through things when she was able to, and just remind her that she was okay and she was loved. It took time, a lot of patience and consistent reassurance, but slowly, gradually, Lily started to open up again, started to feel a bit safer in public, started to get back to the progress she'd been making. But that incident with Karen still bothers me. It's not just about the "I don't work here" aspect, though that was part of it. It's about how quickly some people judge and get aggressive towards others, especially those who might seem different or vulnerable. It makes you wonder how often this kind of thing happens when someone isn't there to step in. Sharing this feels important, not just as a crazy story, but as a reminder: be kind, be patient. You never know what someone else is going through. And if you see someone struggling or being targeted and you can safely do it, please step up for them. It really can make a difference. Anyway, that's my story for now. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe out there.
Still watching? Dang, you must love internet drama. Smash subscribe. It's cheaper than therapy.
You ever have one of those days where you're just trying to clock out, maybe grab a quick beer, and then bam, a glass door shatters, and you're suddenly chasing a crazed woman down the street? Yeah, me neither until last Tuesday. Let me tell you, it was a wild ride. So picture this: it's a small, independent print shop. Not one of those big chain places, but the kind with a bit of character, the faint smell of toner, and a team that mostly just gets along. I'm Ethan, and I was just chilling in the front office, laptop open, scrolling through Reddit, honestly. And our main graphic designer was there too. We'd had an off-site appointment earlier, and since she was driving us both home, I was just killing about 20 minutes before she was ready to pack up. The clock had just ticked past 5, meaning the shop was officially closed, the front door locked. We were both just doing that end-of-day shuffle, gathering our stuff, trading a few last jokes. The thought of heading home, maybe ordering some takeout, was already a sweet melody in my head. Then out of nowhere, there's this insistent rapping at the front door. Not a polite tap, but a sharp, demanding series of knocks. Anne and I exchanged a quick "who the heck is that" glance. I looked up, saw a woman, maybe mid-40s, standing there, glaring. I pointed at my watch, then mouthed, "We're closed," standard procedure. But she didn't just walk away, oh no. She pressed her face closer to the glass, cupped her hands around her mouth, and yelled, "I just have a question," through the thick pain. I sighed, already feeling that familiar end-of-day annoyance creep in. "Ma'am, we closed at 5, I called back, pointing emphatically at the clock hanging above the counter. Anne just shook her head, a silent, some people message passing between us. That's when things got interesting. The woman didn't back down. Instead, she grabbed the door handle hard, and she started shaking it, not a gentle rattle, but a full-on, aggressive shake, like she was trying to rip it off its hinges. The whole frame vibrated, making a low, unsettling groan. My chill demeanor evaporated. I set my laptop down with a thud, walked toward the door, trying to project some kind of calm authority, even though internally I was already a bit baffled. "Hey lady, we're closed. You can't just..." Before I could even finish, she let out this ear-piercing shriek, a sound that made Anne jump back. And then, in one furious, unhinged motion, she slammed her open palm directly against the glass door, right next to the handle she was still gripping. The world went silent for a split second, then crack. A web of jagged lines spiderwebbed across the glass, followed by the sickening shatter as a huge section of it simply disintegrated, raining down onto the welcome mat and the sidewalk outside. My jaw dropped, Anne gasped, hands flying to her mouth. What the actual F? I stammered, staring at the gaping hole where the glass had been. The woman, for her part, looked just as stunned as us. Her eyes, wide with a sudden dawning horror, blinked a few times. Then, without a word, she turned on her heel and started speed-walking away, almost jogging down the street. "Hey, you can't just do that," I yelled, adrenaline surging. I didn't even think, I just reacted. I pushed the ruined door open and started after her. Anne, bless her heart, was yelling something behind me, probably about not chasing crazy people, but I was already a half-block out. I caught up to her just as she rounded the corner, and that's when I saw him, a patrol officer, just making his rounds, strolling along the sidewalk. Perfect timing. I flagged him down, pointing at the retreating woman and then back at the mangled door of the print shop. He took one look at the shattered glass, then at the clearly distressed woman, then back at me and just nodded. "All right, let's all go back to the scene." As we walked back, the absurdity of it all really hit me. This was getting genuinely ridiculous. By the time we got back to the shop, Anne had already called the owner, Mark, who showed up looking furious but also utterly bewildered. 2 more officers arrived shortly after, and the front of our little print shop turned into a low-key crime scene. We pulled up the security footage, which, thankfully, caught everything crystal clear. It turned out this lady had been in earlier that day, trying to get a refund for some prints she wasn't happy with. The footage showed Mark, patient as ever, going through the whole process, even issuing her a full refund. She de-signed for it. She'd walked out, but apparently she'd changed her mind or just didn't want to leave it at that. The question she had was almost certainly another attempt to extract more money or just plain make a scene. Seeing it all play out, the way she just absolutely lost it over something that was already resolved was chilling. The officers didn't hesitate. They cuffed her right there outside our ruined front door. I just stood there, watching her get escorted into the back of a squad car, thinking, wow, that's some next-level, unhinged frustration right there. The police told me I'd probably have to testify in court. "All right," I said, a bit tired but resolute. "I'll do my part for Mark." And the big, burning question she claimed to have, we never did find out. Honestly, after seeing the footage, I don't think it mattered. She wasn't looking for answers, she was looking for a fight. So yeah, that's the story of the lady who shattered our shop door and got arrested, all because she just couldn't accept a refund she already had. It was a hell of an evening, and definitely not how I planned to end my workday. But hey, at least Anne and I got a story to tell, right?
All right, fellow Redditors, buckle up because I've got a classic I don't work here lady tale that unfolded right in front of me the other day. I was grabbing a quick solo lunch at this busy little spot, just minding my own business, scrolling through my phone when this woman walks in right behind me. Naturally, I held the door for her. Standard stuff, right? Little did I know, I was basically holding the door open for a Category 5 Karen storm. So Karen and her kid get seated, and honestly from the jump, you could just feel the tension radiating off her. Like, she was vibrating with impatience before anyone even took her drink order. The place was pretty packed, service seemed a little slow but nothing crazy, just peak lunch rush stuff. Then the manager's girlfriend shows up, and yeah, the original poster wasn't kidding, this woman was striking. But it wasn't just about looks, she had this really confident, capable vibe about her. She wasn't dressed like staff, but she immediately went over to chat briefly with her boyfriend, who was hustling hard managing the floor. And then, without missing a beat, she actually helped a struggling waiter carry a couple of heavy trays to a big table. I remember thinking, okay, that's pretty cool of her pitching in when it's slammed. Meanwhile, Karen's getting visibly more agitated, glaring at the waiters, tapping her fingers, sighing dramatically. She's clearly reached her limit with the waiting. And instead of flagging down a waiter or the manager like a normal person, she zeroes in on the manager's girlfriend, who was just settling back down near her boyfriend's station. Karen power walks over and just demands to order like right now. The manager's girlfriend, bless her, just looks a little surprised and calmly explains, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't actually work here." And that's when Karen snapped. You could just see the switch flip, her face twisted, and she got this aggressive edge to her voice. "Don't work here? Then what are you doing just standing around? Helping out, more like being lazy." A waiter, bless his soul, saw the commotion and quickly swooped in to take Karen's order, probably trying to contain the situation. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope. Karen places her order but keeps her laser focus on the manager's girlfriend, who's just trying to pretend this isn't happening. Karen keeps muttering stuff about, some people just stand around, and lazy freeloaders. This is when the manager, who had obviously clocked the whole thing, finally walks over looking thoroughly done with life. He tries to calmly explain again, "Ma'am, that's my girlfriend, she doesn't work here. She was just helping out for a second because we're swamped." But Karen was not having it. She plants her hands on her hips and points at his girlfriend. "I don't care who she is. She was acting like staff and then said she doesn't work here. You need to discipline her, she's being lazy." The manager just stares at her for a second, his expression a perfect mix of disbelief and utter exasperation. Then, a slow grin spreads across his face and he deadpans, "Yeah, I'm gonna get right on that. I'll fire my girlfriend for helping out on her day off. That sounds like a great plan." The pure, unadulterated sarcasm just hung in the air. Karen's mouth actually fell open. She stared at him, then at his girlfriend, then back at him. And you could practically hear the gears grinding in her head as she finally understood how ridiculous she sounded. Her face went from angry red to embarrassed crimson faster than you could say, "I don't work here, lady." She didn't say another word, just grabbed her kid's arm and practically dragged them out of the restaurant, leaving behind a wake of stunned silence that quickly erupted into quiet chuckles from pretty much everyone who'd witnessed it. I stayed, finished my food, and made sure to leave a fat tip for the waiter and the manager. They absolutely earned it dealing with that mess. Walked out shaking my head, still grinning about the manager's perfect comeback. Man, some people just beg for these stories to happen to them.
This next story is just as wild. Give it a watch.